Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Quant Network, aka Q&T. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So first and foremost, I do want to start with this tweet from SonNL11 because this is going to transition us into my next few things I want to discuss. And this is talking about after 4 years, most crypto communities are still waiting on their first huge implementation solely based on speculation. Again, the biggest thing that we do see in this market that allows individuals to fail is getting caught up in the hopium scenarios that could possibly happen. See, that's what I personally love about Quant, is that we don't have to sit around and, hope for something to happen or, wait to see this confirmation of, how big Quant will be. No. In fact, we already have 3 confirmed gigantic major partnerships and has achieved this with only 25% of their current total of employees. Brace yourself, mass adoption incoming. And we do see down here, like, confirmed and big. SIA, MEXC, 580 banks with one of 12 dApps transacting more than top 10 ecosystems. Oracle, blockchain, this is their interoperability provider. Like, this is with Oracle's massive tech stack. We do see LAC chain, or launching the Latin dollar, 2-tier CBDC across 12 countries with IDB, owned by 48 banks. Plus 300 more, and no crypto trash. Like, when we look at this, right, it's funny, the funny thing about this is that just imagine how many NDAs that Quant actually has before they actually announce the next major big thing. And we do see down here, like, this is confirmation of the 580 banks with CNET, not to mention, again, even more of the discussions around how large of an ecosystem this actually is. And then over here, we do see Oracle. Again, we already know about how big Oracle is. We've broken them down on multiple occasions. And then, of course, last but not least, IDB. IDB is a huge one within the CBDC infrastructure. But the funny thing is that this is like barely scratching the surface. In fact, what we actually have been watching for around crypto right now is regulatory stance. Because a lot of people have been waiting for regulatory guidelines around this market for a lot of these major assets and companies to be compliant and actually move forward on in regards to their implementation. We do see down here, this is from Gilbert Verdian himself. Appropriate regulation should be a force for good. It can put in place the infrastructure to complement our existing systems and encourage the exponential growth of new and better forms of money and digital assets. And this is actually how I look at this as well. There's been a lot of discussions around regulatory stance within crypto. First off, most of the individuals within this market actually don't understand how regulatory stance works around crypto. A lot of people think that it is taking, the centralization aspect to a whole new level, and we will see, crypto being fully controlled, etc. The biggest problem with that is that a lot of the top tier, tokens are fully centralized. We've actually debunked this quite a bit with even Bitcoin and Ethereum. You can kind of look at Solana as well in the same aspect. But again, to me, when we look at regulatory stance within this market, it isn't the idea of killing crypto or anything like that. We need regulations for this market to actually fully thrive and be adopted in massively. You won't see mass adoption without regulations. It's simple. And I just made a video the other day where I was talking about how 99% of this market is complete and utter trash. A lot of it is just a waste of time, a waste of money, and a lot of it is blatant rug pulls and scams and just, it's all kind of just paid shilling of just trash tokens. That 1% of this market is going to be revolutionary. And we've discussed quite a bit of these assets. We talk about XRP, XLM, XDC, Algorand, even IOTA, Q&T, DEG, LCX, Casper, HBAR, and of course so many other ones here. And shout out to XX_ on Twitter for this. I don't even say the rest of his name just because it's way too much. But definitely go check them out on Twitter. But yeah, I think that at the core of all of this, a lot of these tokens will be utilized at a very large rate. We will see a lot of volume transacted through a lot of these. And these are like the main players, but you also do see like some individual players within this as well, like the core of them. Like you do see Trade Tech, you see Interledger Protocol, you see Moha Loop, IBM, World Economic Forum, all of it. Like these are all the major connections to a lot of these tokens. And I think that when we take a look in the past around this market, like even going, like I think it was like around 20, it was like 2015 to about like 2017, where we did see like the kind of major push from the World Economic Forum. Like that's when we did see a lot of talks around like digitization, tokenization. Even just recently, I talked about that PDF file with the World Economic Forum where they were talking about like 3D printing like human organs and stuff like that. Like it's actually pretty crazy what they have planned for like digitization. But that was like from 2015. And a lot of the things that they did mention in that PDF file have started to come true. But one thing that they did mention was by 2027, we will see a very large percentage of the world's GDP tokenized and being issued out on blockchain technology. I do believe that that is a reality. I think that when we go and take a step back real quick and just go back 5 years ago, for an example, in 5 years, this market has done a massive move. And I'm not talking about a massive move in the price. I'm talking about the massive move in adoption, in growth, in just the way that we have been starting to kind of move towards solutions that are going to not only revolutionize many industries but also impact billions of lives. Like things are rapidly shifting around this market, and I could see it happening already. And we have been putting a focus point on a lot of these specific assets. Like we talk about Quant a lot, and it's simply because Quant is at the forefront of it all. That Overledger network is something special. I shouldn't even say Overledger network, but just Overledger itself. And again, CBDCs. The big talk right now around this market is CBDCs, DLT itself. With CBDCs, cash and central bank reserves, it will be similar. The more seamless and trusted it is, the more fungible it becomes. And this is from Martin Hargreaves. Now, I actually have this open over here. This goes back to July of 2022, so just recently. And this is actually discussing a few things around digital money, fungibility, and even interoperability. We do see with the rise of stablecoins and CBDCs, fungibility became a term closely associated with digital money. It refers to digital assets' ability to be interchanged with others of the same type, in contrast to non-fungible tokens, which are linked to unique items such as artwork. Similarly, the term interoperability relates to how digital currency can move from one protocol and execute any pre-programmed functions. And when we look at a few of the topics down here, they do mention a few. Using CBDCs and stablecoins will need to be seamless for people in order for them to gain traction. Now, again, this is a full-on video. If you guys want to go check this out, you guys are more than welcome to. It's a pretty... It's not like a very long video. I think that it's about like, I want to say an hour long. I know that to some people might seem like a long time, but it does go in depth on a lot of things happening around this space. And a few of the major players within this are like the Digital Pound Foundation, the Digital Euro Association, and then you do see a few other names here like Accenture. And this is in cooperation with Ripple and CBDC Think Tank. Just recently we discussed Ripple working with Hedera. And we do see a few things down here, and this is like on stablecoins maintaining their value. We've seen, stablecoins depegging themselves and cease to maintain their value. The whole point of, having programmable currency is that you can potentially create a payments rail with automation that removes many of the manual processes used today. You have to fix these issues, and it's all centered around like legal and regulatory frameworks. Interoperability. A lot of the interoperability comes down to user experience. For example, today, if you need to make a transfer with your crypto account, you could use a debit card. The exchange then performs a spot transfer and charges a transaction fee. It's expensive, but it works. You could see the same scenario for stablecoins and CBDCs where you have improved payment instruments, but these need to be as frictionless for people as possible. If we learned anything from the last few years of payments, it's that using CBDCs and stablecoins will need to be seamless for people in order to gain traction. And they do talk about like convertibility and fungibility. Like at the end of the day, like this has to be the most seamless scenario possible. When you want to transact, when you want to convert, whatever you're doing, it needs to have interoperability. It needs to be as seamless as possible. It has to have as less friction as possible as well. There's a few things to focus on here, but Quant is fixing a lot of the issues within this. And we actually do see here as well. Why is programmable money set to become the norm? Gilbert Verdane offers his views, and this is with a few other individuals here from like Bank Canada, Visa, etc. I'm going to turn this up. Listen closely to this. It is about a 56-second long video, but we are already 10 seconds in.
It really automates a lot of complex business processes and allows you to code in logic into money. And you could say, if this delivery happened on time, automatically tip the delivery driver. If I receive these goods and services from overseas, automatically pay the tax and excise to HMRC. I don't want the hassle of doing it myself. So we're going to see a programmable way of how we're going to operate. And we already do this today. I mean, the way we use our systems and phones and devices, we're already used to being so digital and automating as much of our digital life as possible. It's just going to be money next for us.
And he does make a good point there, right? Like when we look at a lot of the processes within this market that are being disrupted by tokens like even XDC, even XRP, etc., a lot of it is centered around automation. I mean, sure, you do have like full-on disruptions where we are taking the inefficiencies of the legacy systems, kind of revolutionizing them and making them better, making them transact at a better rate. The efficiencies are great when you do look at like the cost of transactions, the speed of settlement. Like things like that are awesome, but being able to automate processes, being able to have things run smoothly with as less friction as possible, as seamless as possible, that's big, right? Because not only do you see a streamlined process of workflows, and workflows could be anything, right? Like you could see workflows within payments, transactions, workflows within corporations, businesses, like trade finance, all of it. Like this is at the forefront almost every single market and industry that you could ever think of. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of you out there are probably working in IT. You guys are probably working in tech. And of course, it ranges all the way to like even construction and stuff like that. Imagine streamlining every single one of those processes. We're talking about, if somebody wants to, be invoiced. Okay, well, a lot of invoices are still kind of, paper documented. But imagine having a digital workflow where it's just kind of automated. You kind of just tell, a device whatever the information that you need to tell it, and it just sends out the invoice automatically. It kind of does everything for you in an automatic, process. Like that will streamline a lot of things. It will save a lot of time. It will save a lot of, money. You get rid of all of the paper documents as well. Like this is why we look at digitization at the forefront of things, because it is going to streamline everything, speed up every single process. Now, of course, there is a lot of things that I do not agree with as well within digitization. But for the most part, there's a lot of things that could help, greatly impact every single individual's life. For the most part, everyone out there is working at a job that could benefit greatly from, streamlined digitization, as well as, really kind of having these, sort of aspects automated. There's a few things that, shouldn't be automated, but there is a large area of impact from a lot of these use cases. And more so, I'm really kind of centered on a lot of these tokens that are kind of streamlining, certain areas. More so, like I said, trade finance is a perfect one to automate and really kind of digitize. But there's also like, CBDCs. There's tokenization of markets like real estate, tokenization of, like health insurance as well. Like there's a lot of things that are being fully tokenized and revolutionized through the digitization of some of these processes. And it's truly remarkable how far this market has come in such a short amount of time. This is why I say, like, that 3 to 5 year time frame on this market, like by 2027, this market is going to look extremely different. The entire landscape will be, completely different. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. And like I said, Quant is probably one of the biggest ones out there. And I do think that anyone that is holding QNT should definitely brace themselves for the future, because I think that this is such a special asset, because it holds the whole, I should say, sorry, I kind of made a mistake. It holds the key to the future around this market to really kind of unlock the barrier to adoption. And that is like interoperability at the core. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As this is up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.